It's midnight when my phone buzzes on the workbench. I'm elbow deep in the engine of my '98 Ford, grease coating my knuckles, when the screen lights up with a name I haven't seen in 12 months. Emily. My wife. Ex-wife. Hell, I don't even know what to call her anymore. The text makes my blood freeze. I've had my fun. I'm ready to be your wife again. Can we talk? I nearly dropped my wrench into the engine block. After a year of radio silence, after walking out on our 15-year marriage because she needed space to find herself, Emily Mallory thinks she can waltz back into my life with a text message. Pine Hollow, New York isn't the kind of place where secrets stay buried. Population 8,000, and every single one of them knew when Emily packed her designer suitcases and moved into that fancy downtown loft. They all watched me stumble through the grocery store alone, saw me eating dinner by myself at Murphy's Diner, witnessed my slow-motion humiliation in real time. I wipe my hands on an old rag and stare at the message. The audacity is breathtaking, even for Emily. She always had this way of assuming the world would bend to her schedule, that people would wait around while she figured out what she wanted. My phone buzzes again. Jake? I know you're awake. Your truck's in the driveway. Of course she drove by, probably in that silver BMW her architecture firm leased for her. Emily always loved making an entrance, and apparently leaving one too. I type back, "It's late, Em." 3 dots appear immediately. She was waiting. I miss you. I miss us. I made mistakes, but I'm ready now. Really ready. Ready. Like our marriage was some kind of training wheels she'd outgrown, and now she was prepared for the real thing. Like I'd been sitting here in our drafty 1920s house, keeping her spot warm on the couch. The thing is, I had been. For about 6 months anyway. Emily left on a Tuesday in March, right after the daffodils started poking through the snow in our front yard. Said she felt suffocated by small-town life, by me, by the predictability of it all. She wanted excitement, adventure, the chance to spread her wings in the big city. Albany isn't exactly Manhattan, but for Pine Hollow standards, it might as well have been Paris. I need to discover who I am outside of being Jake's wife, she'd said, standing in our bedroom doorway with 2 suitcases. I love you, but I don't know if I'm in love with you anymore. That distinction had kept me awake for months. I'd begged her to try counseling, suggested we take a vacation, maybe move somewhere new together. But Emily's mind was made up. She'd already put a deposit down on the loft, already arranged to work remotely from the firm's Albany office. The divorce papers came in July. I never signed them. Now she's back, texting like nothing happened, like she just stepped out for groceries instead of abandoning our life together. My phone rings. Emily's photo fills the screen, the one from our anniversary dinner 2 years ago, when she still looked at me like I hung the moon instead of like I was holding her back from it. I let it go to voicemail. She calls again immediately, then again. On the 4th call, I answer. Jake. Her voice is softer than her texts, vulnerable in a way that takes me back to when we first met. Thank you for picking up. What do you want, Emily? I want to come home. I want to fix this. I know I hurt you, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Through the phone, I can hear traffic in the background, the distant sound of music from some bar. She's probably parked outside, working up the courage to knock on the door. Where are you? I ask. Downtown. I was having dinner with some friends and I kept thinking about you, about us, about how stupid I was to throw away something so good. Friends. In Pine Hollow, that could only mean one group of people, the wives of the guys I used to hang out with before Emily left and everything got complicated. Before I became the cautionary tale they whispered about over wine. It's been a year, Em. I know, and I hate myself for wasting so much time, but I'm different now. I've grown. I know what I want. And what's that? You. Our life. Our home. I want to be your wife again, Jake. Really be your wife. I close my eyes, leaning against the truck's bumper. Part of me, the part that still loves her despite everything, wants to believe it, wants to think that maybe she really did just need time to appreciate what we had. But the other part, the part that's been nursing this wound for 12 months, knows better. I need to think about this, I say finally. Of course, take all the time you need. I'm staying at the Comfort Inn on Route 9 for now. Room 237. I'm not going anywhere, Jake. Not this time. After she hangs up, I stand in my driveway for a long time, looking up at the stars barely visible through the streetlight glare. The house behind me feels too big and too small at the same time, empty without Emily, but somehow cramped with all the memories we'd built inside those walls. My neighbor Mrs. Patterson's curtain twitches. Even at midnight, Pine Hollow's gossip network is operational. I head inside, past the living room where Emily's reading chair still sits in the corner, past the kitchen where her coffee mug still hangs on the hook she claimed 15 years ago. I've become a curator of my own life, preserving everything exactly as she left it. In our bedroom, my bedroom now, I sit on the edge of the bed and replay the conversation. Something about it felt off, rehearsed maybe. Emily always was good at saying what people wanted to hear, especially when she wanted something in return. I pull up her social media, something I'd stopped doing months ago for my own sanity. Her Instagram is full of pictures from the past year, Emily at art galleries, Emily at rooftop bars, Emily hiking in the Adirondacks with people I don't recognize. She looks happy, free, exactly like someone who'd found herself. But in the most recent photos, something's different. The smile doesn't quite reach her eyes. The captions are shorter, less enthusiastic. The last post is from 3 weeks ago. I'm about to close the app when I notice something in one of the photos from last month. Emily's at some kind of work event, surrounded by her colleagues from the architecture firm. She's laughing at something, her hand resting on the arm of a tall guy in an expensive suit. The guy looks familiar, but I can't place him. I screenshot the photo and zoom in on his face. Mid-30s, perfectly styled hair, the kind of confident smile that comes from never being told no. He's wearing a watch that probably costs more than my truck. In the comments, someone tagged him. A Trent Wilcox, our architect, Trent Wilcox. The name doesn't ring a bell, but something about his face nags at me. I click on his profile. His bio reads, Senior Associate at Morrison & Associates, designing the future, one building at a time, Albany born and raised. His feed is exactly what I'd expect. Expensive restaurants, weekend trips to the Hamptons, photos of architectural projects with captions full of industry jargon. The kind of guy who probably uses words like curated and artisanal without irony. But it's the recent photos that make my stomach drop. There's Emily, not tagged, but definitely Emily, in the background of a shot from some wine bar. Then another one, from what looks like a hiking trail. Then a third, taken at a restaurant I recognize from downtown Albany. They're not couple photos exactly, but they're together enough times that it's clearly not coincidental. I scroll back through months of posts, looking for more evidence. It's subtle. Emily in a group shot here, reflected in a window there, her laugh captured in the corner of a video. But once you start looking, it's impossible to miss. My wife, ex-wife, whatever, spent her year of self-discovery with Trent Wilcox, and now she's ready to be my wife again. I set my phone on the nightstand and stare at the ceiling. The house creaks around me, settling into itself the way old houses do. Somewhere in the walls, a mouse skitters across the insulation. Normal sounds that I've learned to find comforting in the long, quiet months since Emily left. But tonight, they sound different. Tonight, they sound like the prelude to something ending. I wake up at 6, same as always. The text from Emily sits on my phone like a piece of unexploded ordnance, and for a moment, I wonder if I dreamed the whole thing. But there it is. I've had my fun. I'm ready to be your wife again. The phrasing bothers me more in the daylight. Had her fun. Like our marriage was the responsible choice after a year of spring break. I make coffee in the kitchen Emily renovated 3 years ago, back when she still cared about our house, our life together. She'd spent weeks picking out the perfect subway tile, the exact shade of blue for the cabinets. Now it just feels like a museum exhibit. Marriage, circa 2020-2023. My phone buzzes with a text from my business partner, Danny. Heard Emily's back in town. You okay? Pine Hollow's information network is faster than the internet. Mrs. Patterson probably had the whole story posted on the neighborhood Facebook group before I'd even gone to bed. I text back, fine, just rumors. But I'm not fine, and it's not just rumors. I shower and dress for work. Mallory Construction has a kitchen renovation starting today on the other side of town. Physical work has been my salvation this past year. Something concrete and fixable when everything else in my life felt broken beyond repair. As I'm loading tools into my truck, a silver BMW turns onto my street. Emily. She parks across from my driveway and sits there for a moment, checking her reflection in the rearview mirror. Even from 50 feet away, I can see her hands shaking slightly as she applies lipstick. When she gets out of the car, I'm struck by how different she looks. Not bad different. Emily could never look bad. But polished in a way that feels foreign. Her hair is shorter, styled in one of those deliberately messy cuts that probably costs more than I spend on groceries in a month. Her clothes are more expensive too, designer jeans and a leather jacket that definitely wasn't in her closet when she left. Jake. She walks toward me carefully, like she's approaching a spooked horse. You look good. I probably don't. I've lost weight this past year, and not in a healthy way. Too many skipped meals, too many nights when beer seemed easier than cooking for one. Emily. I close the truck's tailgate, not moving toward her. You're up early. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about our conversation last night. She stops a few feet away, close enough that I can smell her perfume. It's different too, something expensive and sophisticated that doesn't smell like the Emily I married. I'm heading to work. I know. I remember your schedule. She smiles, and for a second it's like looking at a ghost of our old life. I was hoping we could grab breakfast. Murphy's Diner, like we used to. Murphy's Diner, where we had our first date 17 years ago. Where we used to go every Sunday morning after church, splitting the newspaper and arguing about the crossword puzzle. Where I ate alone for months after she left, until the pitying looks from the waitresses became too much to bear. I can't. I have a job starting at 8. Oh. Her face falls. Maybe lunch then? Or dinner? I'm staying in town for a while, Jake. I meant what I said last night. About having your fun? She flinches. That came out wrong. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? Emily looks down at her hands, twisting the wedding ring that somehow found its way back onto her finger. I meant that I was confused. I thought I needed something else, something more exciting. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. What changed? I did. I realized that excitement isn't the same as happiness, that freedom isn't the same as fulfillment. She looks up at me, and her eyes are bright with unshed tears. I realized that I already had everything I needed, and I threw it away because I was too stupid to see it. It's a good speech, probably one she's been practicing. I really do have to go to work, I say, opening my truck door. Jake, wait. She steps closer. I know this is sudden. I know I have no right to expect anything from you, but please just think about it. Think about us, about giving me a chance to make this right. I get in the truck and start the engine. Through the windshield, I watch Emily step back onto the sidewalk, her perfect composure finally cracking a little. As I drive away, I see her in my rearview mirror, standing alone in front of the house we used to share. The job site is a welcome distraction. Mrs. Chen wants her kitchen updated, new cabinets, new countertops, new appliances, the kind of complete overhaul that takes weeks and requires complete focus. Danny's already there when I arrive, measuring cabinet spaces with the meticulous care that makes him a good partner. "So," he says without looking up from his tape measure, "want to talk about it?" Danny Rodriguez has been my business partner for 8 years and my friend for longer than that. He was my best man at my wedding, Sophie's godfather, the guy who showed up with beer and pizza every Friday night for the first 2 months after Emily left. Nothing to talk about. Uh-huh. He writes down a measurement and moves to the next cabinet. "That's why you look like you've been hit by a truck." I start removing cabinet doors, stacking them carefully against the wall. Physical work, methodical and predictable. She wants to get back together. And I don't know what to think. Danny sets down his tape measure and looks at me. "Jake, you're my friend, so I'm going to be honest with you. Emily left you. She walked out on 15 years of marriage because she was bored. She put you through hell, made you the talk of the whole town, and now she shows up after a year expecting you to take her back? People change. Do they? Or do they just get tired of their new toy?" I don't answer, but Danny's words hit closer to home than I want to admit. We work in relative silence for the next few hours, the familiar rhythm of demolition providing a soundtrack to my churning thoughts. But around noon, my phone starts buzzing with texts. The first is from Emily. "Thinking about you. Hope work is going well." The second is from my daughter Sophie, away at college. "Mom texted me, said she's trying to work things out with you. Dad, please be careful." The third is from a number I don't recognize. "Jake Mallory? This is Trent Wilcox. I think we should talk." I stare at that last message for a long time. Trent Wilcox, the architect from Emily's Instagram photos, the one who's been spending time with my wife during her year of self-discovery. Danny notices me standing frozen with my phone. "What is it?" I show him the message. He reads it and whistles low. "Well, that's interesting. What are you going to do?" I have no idea. My phone buzzes again. Another message from Trent. "I know this is awkward, but there are things you should know. Can we meet somewhere? I'll be in Pine Hollow this afternoon." "You should meet with him," Danny says. "Are you insane? Think about it, Jake. This guy is reaching out to you directly. Why would he do that unless he has something important to say? Maybe something Emily doesn't want you to know." I consider this. Danny's right. It doesn't make sense for Trent to contact me unless he has a reason. And given the timing, right after Emily's sudden desire to reconcile, it seems like more than a coincidence. I type back, "Murphy's Diner, 3 p.m. His response is immediate. "I'll be there. Thanks for agreeing to this." The rest of the workday passes in a blur. I go through the motions of demolition, but my mind is elsewhere, trying to imagine what Trent Wilcox could possibly want to tell me. At 2:45, I clean up and head to Murphy's Diner. The place hasn't changed in 20 years. Red vinyl booths, black and white checkered floor, a jukebox in the corner that still plays songs from the 80s. It's the kind of place that exists in every small town in America, where the coffee is strong and the pie is homemade and everybody knows everybody else's business. I take a booth in the back and order coffee from Dolores, who's been waitressing here since before I was born. "Heard Emily's back," she says, not bothering with subtlety. "You two working things out?" "We'll see." Dolores has opinions about everything, but she's smart enough to know when to keep them to herself. "Let me know if you need anything else, honey." At exactly 3 p.m., a man in an expensive suit walks through the door. Trent Wilcox looks exactly like his photos. Tall, polished, the kind of guy who probably gets his hair cut every 2 weeks and his shoes shined every month. He spots me immediately and walks over, extending his hand. "Jake? I'm Trent. Thanks for meeting me." His handshake is firm but not aggressive. Up close, he looks tired, like he hasn't been sleeping well. "What do you want?" I ask as he slides into the booth across from me. "I want to tell you the truth about Emily, about what really happened this past year." Dolores appears with another cup of coffee, eyeing Trent with the suspicion small-town people reserve for obvious outsiders. "I assume you know who I am," Trent says once we're alone. "I figured it out." He nods. "Emily and I work together. It's complicated." Seems like everything about Emily is complicated these days. Trent actually smiles at that. "You're not wrong." He takes a sip of coffee and makes a face. Apparently Murphy's brew doesn't meet his standards. "Look, I'm going to be direct because I think you deserve that. Emily and I were involved, romantically, for about 8 months. Even though I'd suspected it, hearing it confirmed hits like a punch to the gut. It ended 3 weeks ago. She broke it off, said she needed to figure out what she really wanted. 2 days later, she put in for a transfer back to the Pine Hollow area. Yesterday, she told me she was going back to her husband. Why are you telling me this?" Trent leans forward, his expression serious. "Because Emily isn't being honest with you, or with herself. She didn't leave you because she needed to find herself. She left because she was having an affair with our boss, Marcus Webb." The diner suddenly feels too small, too warm. "What?" "Marcus is married, kids. The whole thing. When his wife found out about Emily, she threatened to go public, destroy his career, their family. So Marcus ended it and transferred Emily to Albany to get her away from his wife." I stare at Trent, trying to process what he's telling me. "So you were what? The rebound?" "I guess. Emily was hurt, angry, looking for someone to make her feel better about herself. I was convenient." He shrugs. "I'm not proud of it, but there it is." "And now?" "Now Marcus's wife filed for divorce anyway. It's going to be messy, public. Emily's name is going to come out, and when it does, her career in Albany is over. She needs somewhere to run, and apparently that somewhere is back to you." I sit back in the booth, my head spinning. This is so much worse than I'd imagined. Emily didn't leave me for another man. She left me because she got caught with another man, then spent a year with a second man, and now she's running back to me because her house of cards is falling down. "Why should I believe you?" I ask. Trent pulls out his phone and scrolls through his messages. He turns it toward me, showing a text conversation with Emily from 2 days ago. "Emily, I can't do this anymore. I'm going back to Jake." Trent, You're making a mistake. You don't love him." Emily, "Love doesn't matter. I need stability. I need someone who won't abandon me when things get complicated." Trent, "That's not fair to him." Emily, "Jake will take me back. He always does." I read the messages twice, my chest tightening with each word. "There's more," Trent says, taking back his phone. "But I think you get the picture. Why are you showing me this? What's in it for you?" For the first time since he sat down, Trent looks uncomfortable. "Honestly, I'm angry. Emily used me, and now she's planning to use you. I thought you should know what you're getting into. Or you're trying to sabotage her because she left you." "Maybe a little of both," he admits, "but that doesn't make it less true." We sit in silence for a moment, the weight of this new information settling between us. "What are you going to do?" Trent asks. "I don't know. For what it's worth, I don't think Emily is a bad person. I think she's scared and making bad choices because of it. But you deserve better than being someone's safety net." Trent stands up and drops a 20 on the table. "I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I thought you should know what you're really dealing with." After he leaves, I sit in the booth for another hour, drinking coffee and trying to make sense of everything I've learned. Emily didn't leave me because she was unhappy with our marriage. She left because she got caught cheating and needed an escape route. She spent a year with Trent, not because she was finding herself, but because she was running from the consequences of her actions. And now, with her Albany life falling apart, she's back, ready to be my wife again. The worst part is Trent's probably right. I would take her back. Despite everything, despite the lies and the betrayal and the humiliation, part of me still loves the woman I married 15 years ago. but that woman might not exist anymore. My phone buzzes with a text from Emily. How was your day? I've been thinking about us, about all the good times we had. I miss those days, Jake. I miss being happy with you. I stare at the message for a long time before typing back. We need to talk. Tonight. 7 o'clock, our house. Her response comes immediately. Yes. Thank you for giving me a chance. I love you. I don't text back. Emily arrives at exactly 7 o'clock, carrying a bottle of wine and wearing the blue dress I bought her for our anniversary 2 years ago. She's trying to recreate something, some memory of better times, but it feels like watching an actress play a role she's forgotten how to perform. I brought your favorite, she says, holding up the bottle. That Pinot Noir from the place in Napa we visited. We never went to Napa together. That was something she did with Trent, probably, or maybe Marcus Webb. But I don't correct her. Come in. She walks through our front door like she's visiting a museum of her former life, touching surfaces, straightening picture frames, reacquainting herself with spaces she once knew by heart. The house looks good, she says. You've been taking care of it. It's my house. Our house, she corrects gently. I never took my name off the deed, Jake. I never really left, not in my heart. We go to the kitchen, where she opens the wine with the ease of someone who's done a lot of drinking this past year. She pours 2 glasses and hands me one. To second chances, she says, raising her glass. I don't toast. Emily, I met with someone today, Trent Wilcox. Her wine glass freezes halfway to her lips. For just a moment, her careful composure cracks, and I see something like panic flash across her face. Oh. She sets down her glass. He contacted you? He did. Had some interesting things to tell me. Jake, whatever he said, he told me about Marcus Webb. Emily goes very still. Outside, a car drives past, its headlights sweeping across our kitchen window. I can explain, she says finally. I'm sure you can. You always could explain things, Emily. Remember when you explained why you needed to work late 3 nights a week? Or why you were getting so many texts from your friend at the office? That's not fair. Isn't it? Because I'm starting to think I've been unfair to myself. All this time I thought I'd failed you somehow. Thought I wasn't enough, wasn't exciting enough, wasn't whatever you needed me to be. Emily's eyes fill with tears. Jake, please. But it wasn't about me at all, was it? You were cheating on me long before you left. Marcus Webb was just the one you got caught with. It wasn't like that. Then tell me what it was like. She sits down at our kitchen table, the one we picked out together when we first bought the house. For a moment, she looks like the young woman I fell in love with, vulnerable and uncertain. Marcus and I worked closely together on the Riverside development project. Long hours, lots of pressure. It started innocently, just coffee, working dinners, conversations about architecture and design. She looks up at me. You and I weren't talking much then. You were busy with work. I was busy with work. We were like roommates. So you decided to sleep with your boss. It wasn't a decision. It just happened. One night we were working late and she trails off, shaking her head. I know how that sounds. I know there's no excuse. But you kept doing it. Yes, for 3 months. And I felt terrible about it, Jake. I hated myself. But Marcus made me feel special, important, like I was more than just someone's wife in a small town. So why didn't you just ask for a divorce? Why the whole charade about needing space to find yourself? Emily's composure finally breaks completely. She puts her face in her hands and starts crying, not the delicate tears of someone trying to look sympathetic, but the ugly, desperate sobs of someone whose world is falling apart. Because his wife found out. She hired a private investigator, got photos, recordings, everything. She threatened to destroy both of us if we didn't end it immediately. And Marcus chose his wife. He chose his reputation, his career, his standing in the community. The bitterness in her voice is sharp enough to cut glass. He threw me away like I was nothing, had me transferred to Albany the next week. So you came up with the story about needing space. I couldn't tell you the truth. I couldn't admit that I'd destroyed our marriage for someone who didn't even care about me. I sit down across from her, studying her face. Even now, even in the middle of this confession, she's managing her image. The tears are real, but they're calculated too. What about Trent? Trent was... She wipes her eyes. I was lonely, hurt. He was kind to me when I needed someone to be kind. For 8 months. Yes. And now you're ready to be my wife again. Emily reaches across the table for my hand. Jake, I know I've made terrible mistakes. I know I've hurt you in ways I can never fully repair. But I've learned from this. I've grown. I know what I want now, and what I want is you. Us. Our life together. Because Marcus's scandal is about to go public and your career in Albany is over. She jerks her hand back like I've slapped her. That's not why. Isn't it? Trent showed me your text messages, Emily. You told him love doesn't matter, that you need stability, that I'll take you back because I always do. I was angry when I wrote that. I didn't mean it. Which part didn't you mean? The part about not loving me, or the part about me being pathetic enough to take you back? Emily stands up abruptly, pacing to the window. You want to know the truth? The whole truth? Fine. Yes, Marcus's scandal is going to destroy my career in Albany. Yes, I need somewhere to go. But that doesn't mean my feelings aren't real. What feelings? You just admitted you don't love me. I do love you. Maybe not the way I did when we were 25, but I love the life we built together. I love the security you represent. I love the idea of growing old with someone who knows me. That's not love, Emily. That's convenience. She turns back to me, and now her tears are gone, replaced by something harder. What do you want me to say, Jake? That you're the great love of my life? That every moment away from you was agony? We both know that's not true. At least you're being honest now. We're good together. We work well as a team. We have 15 years of history, a daughter, a house, a whole life. Isn't that worth something? It was worth something, before you decided to throw it away for Marcus Webb. I made a mistake. You made a choice, multiple choices. You chose to cheat on me. You chose to lie to me. You chose to leave me. And now you're choosing to come back because it's convenient. Emily sits back down, her shoulders sagging. So, what happens now? Now, you tell me why I should believe anything will be different this time. Because I know what I'm losing now. I didn't appreciate what we had until it was gone. But you don't actually want what we had. You want the security of marriage without the commitment. You want the respectability of being a wife without the fidelity that goes with it. That's not true. Prove it. How? Tell me about Marcus. Tell me everything. Every detail, every lie you told me, every time you came home to me after being with him. Emily stares at me for a long moment. Why would you want to know that? Because if we're going to have any chance of making this work, there can't be any more secrets. I need to know exactly what I'm forgiving. Jake, tell me or leave. Those are your options. She closes her eyes, and when she opens them again, something has shifted. The performance is over. It started in January. The Riverside project was behind schedule, and Marcus and I were working late most nights. He'd order dinner, we'd eat in his office, go over plans and budgets. She speaks slowly, like each word costs her something. He was brilliant, Jake. The way he talked about architecture, about creating spaces that could change people's lives. I'd never met anyone who was so passionate about their work. When did it become physical? Valentine's Day. You'd forgotten. You were dealing with that bathroom renovation that went wrong, remember? Marcus sent me flowers at the office. Red roses. No one had ever sent me flowers at work before. I remember that bathroom renovation. The client's upstairs neighbor had a pipe burst, flooded the whole project. I'd spent 3 days dealing with insurance companies and water damage, came home exhausted and distracted. We worked late that night too, had Chinese takeout in his office. He opened a bottle of champagne, said we were celebrating the progress on Riverside. Emily's voice gets quieter. One thing led to another. Where? In his office, on the couch he kept for client meetings. And then you came home to me. Yes. Did we make love that night? Emily flinches. Jake, please. Did we? Yes, you were trying to make up for forgetting Valentine's Day. The memory hits me like a physical blow. I'd felt terrible about forgetting, had stopped at the grocery store on the way home and bought flowers, chocolate, a card. Emily had seemed distracted but responsive when I'd tried to apologize in the way married couples do. How many times? I ask. Jake. How many times did you sleep with him? I don't know. I didn't keep count. Guess? Maybe 20, 25? And how many times did you come home and sleep with me after being with him? I can't do this. Emily stands up again, but this time she's backing toward the door. This isn't healthy, Jake, for either of us. Sit down. No, I came here to apologize, to try to make things right. I didn't come here to be tortured. You came here because you need a place to run when your world falls apart. Again. Just like you ran to Albany when things got complicated with Marcus. Just like you ran to Trent when Marcus threw you away. That's not... It is exactly that. You're a runner, Emily. When things get tough, when consequences start catching up with you, you find someone else to take care of you. And what if I am? What if I do need someone to take care of me? Is that such a terrible thing? It is when you're willing to destroy people to get it. Emily stops backing away, her face flushing with anger. Destroy people? I made mistakes, Jake, but I never tried to hurt anyone. You destroyed our marriage. You destroyed my trust. You destroyed my standing in this community. Do you have any idea what it was like for me after you left? The looks, the whispers, the pity. I'm sorry about that, but you destroyed Marcus Webb's marriage. You destroyed Trent's relationship with his co-workers. Did you know they all think he's a homewrecker now? You leave wreckage everywhere you go, Emily, and you never look back to see the damage. You're being cruel. I'm being honest, maybe for the first time in our entire relationship. We stare at each other across our kitchen, 15 years of marriage reduced to this moment of brutal clarity. So, what happens now? Emily asks again. Now you leave, you go back to your hotel room, and tomorrow you figure out what you're going to do with your life that doesn't involve using me as a safety net. Jake, please. I know I've made mistakes, but we can work through this. We can go to counseling, take it slow, rebuild trust. No. Why not? Don't you think our marriage is worth fighting for? I thought it was. For 15 years I thought it was. But you didn't. You gave up on us the moment Marcus Webb smiled at you. Everything since then has just been you managing the consequences. Emily picks up her purse, her movements sharp with anger and hurt. Fine, but don't come crying to me in 6 months when you realize you've thrown away the best thing in your life. I'm not the one who threw it away. She pauses at the door. You know what your problem is, Jake? You think you're better than me. You think because you never cheated, never lied, never made any big mistakes, that makes you some kind of saint. But you know what? You're boring. You're predictable. You're safe and stable and completely, utterly boring. If I'm so boring, why do you want me back? Because boring is better than being alone. She leaves, slamming the door behind her. I sit in my kitchen for a long time after she's gone, finishing the wine she brought. Outside, Pine Hollow settles into its evening routine. Porch lights coming on, dogs being walked, families gathering around dinner tables. My phone buzzes with a text from Danny. How did it go? I type back. It's over. Really over this time. You okay? Getting there. But I'm not sure that's true. For the first time in a year, I know exactly where I stand with Emily. The problem is, I'm not sure I like the view. Word travels fast in a town like Pine Hollow. By Thursday morning, everyone knows Emily's back and that we had some kind of confrontation. I can tell because of the way people look at me. Not with pity this time, but with a mixture of curiosity and respect. Mrs. Patterson waves at me from her garden. Morning, Jake. Heard you sent that wife of yours packing. Morning, Mrs. Patterson. Good for you. Woman like that, she made her bed. Let her lie in it. At the hardware store, Bill Henderson claps me on the shoulder. Heard Emily tried to come crawling back. Smart man, not taking her back. Word travels fast. Small town. Bill rings up my purchase. Screws for the Chen kitchen. For what it's worth, I never understood what she was thinking, leaving a good man like you. The attention makes me uncomfortable, but I understand it. In Pine Hollow, marriage means something. Divorce happens, but it's usually for good reasons. Abuse, addiction, abandonment. Emily's reasons had never made sense to people here. Now, they do. I'm loading my truck when my phone rings. Emily. We need to talk, she says without preamble. No, we don't. Yes, we do. There are things we need to figure out. The house, our finances, Sophie. Sophie's an adult. She can have a relationship with both of us without us being together. Jake, please. I'm staying at the Comfort Inn, and I can't afford to stay here much longer. I need to know what we're doing. We aren't doing anything. You're figuring out your life, and I'm getting on with mine. So that's it? 15 years of marriage, and you're just going to throw it away? I didn't throw it away, Emily. You did. Last night you made it very clear that you don't love me, you just need me. That's not enough anymore. There's a long pause. What if I said I was wrong? What if I said I do love you? Then I'd say you're lying, to me and to yourself. Jake. I hang up. The workday passes quickly. Danny and I finish the Chen demolition and start measuring for the new cabinets. It's satisfying work, taking something old and worn and making it new again. Around lunch, Danny brings up the subject I've been avoiding. So what's your plan now? With Emily, I mean. There is no plan. She goes back to Albany, I stay here. We file for divorce. And if she doesn't go back to Albany? I hadn't considered that possibility. But now that Danny mentions it, I realize Emily might not have anywhere else to go. If Trent was right about Marcus Webb's scandal destroying her career, she might be stuck here. That's her problem to figure out. Jake, I've known you for a long time. You're not a cruel person. If Emily's really got nowhere to go. She made her choices, Danny. I can't keep rescuing her from the consequences. But his words stick with me for the rest of the day. That evening, I'm grilling a burger on my back porch when Sophie calls. Dad? I talked to Mom today. How are you doing, sweetheart? I'm okay. Worried about you guys. Mom said you two had a fight. Sophie's 20, a junior at SUNY Albany studying psychology. She's smart, perceptive, and she's been caught in the middle of her parents' mess for too long. We had a conversation, a long overdue one. She's really upset, Dad. She said you won't even consider counseling. Sophie, there are things about your mother's behavior that you don't know. Things I hope you never have to know. Like what? I pause, considering how much to tell her. Sophie deserves honesty, but she also deserves to have a relationship with her mother that isn't poisoned by the details of Emily's affairs. Like the fact that she didn't leave our marriage to find herself. She left because she was having an affair and got caught. Silence on the other end of the line. Sophie? I knew. Her voice is small. I suspected. Some of the things she said, the way she talked about work. I'm not stupid, Dad. I'm sorry you had to figure that out on your own. Is that why you won't take her back? Because she cheated? It's more complicated than that. Your mother and I, we want different things. We always have. I just didn't want to see it. What do you want? I want someone who chooses to be with me, not someone who settles for me because I'm convenient. Sophie is quiet for a moment. Mom said she loves you. Your mother loves the idea of being married to me. There's a difference. Are you going to be okay? I mean, really okay? I think so. It might take some time, but yeah, I think I'm going to be better than okay. After we hang up, I sit on my porch watching the sunset paint the sky orange and pink. For the first time in over a year, I feel something like peace. That peace is shattered an hour later when a car pulls into my driveway. Not Emily's BMW this time, but a black Escalade with Albany plates. Two men get out. One I recognize from Emily's social media as Marcus Webb, the other I don't know, but who has the look of expensive legal representation. Marcus Webb is exactly what I expected. Mid-50s, silver-haired, wearing a suit that probably costs more than most people make in a month. He carries himself with the confidence of someone who's used to being the most important person in any room. The lawyer is younger, sharp-eyed, carrying a briefcase. They walk up to my porch like they own the place. Mr. Mallory, I'm Marcus Webb. This is my attorney, David Chen. Not related to my client, apparently. We'd like to speak with you. About what? About Emily. About some unfortunate misunderstandings that need to be cleared up. I don't think we have anything to discuss. Marcus smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. I think we do. May we come in? Every instinct I have tells me to say no, to send these men away and call my own lawyer. But I'm curious about what Marcus Webb could possibly want with me. 5 minutes. We go into my living room, where Marcus and his lawyer sit on my couch like they're conducting a business meeting. Marcus looks around with barely concealed disdain, taking in the worn furniture, the outdated decor, the general shabbiness of a working man's house. Nice place, he says, and somehow makes it sound like an insult. What do you want? Marcus leans forward, his expression becoming serious. Mr. Mallory, I'm going to be direct with you. Emily has been spreading some very damaging lies about me, lies that could destroy my career and my family. What lies? She's claiming that we had an affair, that I coerced her into a sexual relationship and then abandoned her when it became inconvenient. And that's not what happened? Absolutely not. Emily pursued me aggressively for months. When I finally gave in to her advances, she became obsessed, possessive. When I tried to end things, she threatened to destroy my marriage if I didn't leave my wife for her. I look at the lawyer, who's taking notes. And you believe him? Mr. Webb is a respected member of the Albany business community, Chen says. He has no history of improper conduct. Emily, on the other hand, has a documented pattern of unstable behavior. Documented by who? Marcus pulls out his phone and scrolls through messages. These are texts Emily sent me over the past few months. I think you'll find them illuminating. He hands me the phone. The messages are from Emily, but they paint a very different picture than the one she gave me. In these texts, she's pleading with Marcus to leave his wife, threatening to expose their affair if he doesn't, promising to do anything to win him back. She's been harassing me for months, Marcus says, showing up at my office, calling my house, following my wife to the grocery store. Why are you showing me this? Because Emily is about to make these lies public. She's contacted several news outlets, claiming to be a victim of workplace sexual harassment. When that story breaks, it's going to destroy everything I've built. So? Marcus's polite facade slips a little. So I need you to help me stop her. How? By getting her to sign this. Chen opens his briefcase and pulls out a legal document. A non-disclosure agreement. She agrees to stop making false statements about Mr. Webb, and in return she receives a generous financial settlement. I scan the document. It's offering Emily $50,000 to keep quiet about her relationship with Marcus. And if she doesn't sign? Then we'll be forced to take legal action. Defamation, harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Emily doesn't have the resources to fight us in court. What makes you think I have any influence over what Emily does? Marcus smiles again, and this time it's genuinely unpleasant. Because despite everything she's put you through, you still care about her. And because you're a decent man who doesn't want to see the mother of his child destroyed. Even if she deserves it? That's not for me to judge. I just want this situation resolved quietly, with minimal damage to everyone involved. I set the document on my coffee table. I'll think about it. Time is a factor here, Mr. Mallory. Emily has scheduled interviews with reporters for this weekend. If she goes through with them, then you'll sue her. The rain had eased to a fine mist by the time I left Murphy's, but the chill clung to my skin like regret. Emily's silhouette had vanished down the block, her steps quick and uncertain, as if she half expected someone to call her back and revoke the fragile hope I'd just handed her. I drove home slowly, windows cracked, letting the wet night air dilute the smell of diner grease and coffee that still clung to my jacket. Inside my apartment, the silence felt heavier than usual. I didn't turn on lights, just dropped my keys on the counter and sank onto the couch. The NDA sat on the coffee table where I'd left it, its crisp edges mocking me under the glow of the street lamp filtering through the blinds. 50,000. A number that sounded generous until you considered what it bought. Emily's future silence, Marcus Webb's continued impunity, and my own complicity if I pushed her toward it. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through our text thread. Her messages from the past week were a timeline of unraveling, short at first, then frantic, then apologetic. The last one before tonight, a crying emoji followed by, "I just want this to stop hurting." I'd left it on read for 12 hours. Now I typed nothing. There was nothing left to say until she decided. Sleep didn't come easily. I lay awake replaying the diner conversation, parsing every micro-expression on her face, the flicker of hope when I mentioned the lawyer, the quick tightening of her mouth when I said, war. She wasn't naive. She knew the cost. But knowing and accepting are different animals. Morning arrived gray and damp. I made coffee, black and bitter, and opened my laptop to the encrypted folder I'd started naming Webb file. Inside, screenshots of Emily's old performance reviews, stellar until 6 months ago, anonymous Glassdoor posts naming Marcus as intimidating and favoritism heavy, a leaked internal memo from 2 years prior about appropriate workplace boundaries that read like damage control. Nothing conclusive on its own, but together they painted a picture of a man who operated in gray areas and relied on fear to keep them gray. By noon, Lila Torres had emailed a draft rejection letter, 3 pages of polite, surgical language that dismantled the NDA clause by clause. Coercive intent, retaliatory motive, public policy violation. She attached a list of next steps: file with the EEOC within 180 days, preserve all communications, consider a civil suit for emotional distress and lost wages. At the bottom, in bold, do not sign anything without counsel present. I forwarded it to Emily with a single line. Read when you're ready, no pressure, call if you want to talk it through. Her reply came 40 minutes later. Printing it now, this is a lot, but thank you. The afternoon passed in a blur of client calls and half-hearted emails. My mind kept drifting back to Marcus Webb. I'd never met him, only seen the polished headshots, silver hair, easy smile, the kind of face that sells venture capital and board seats. In one photo, he stood beside a podium at Davos, arms crossed, looking untouchable. Untouchable people stay that way by making sure no one dares touch them. Around 4, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered cautiously. Mr. Riley, this is Chen again. His voice was smoother than last time, almost conciliatory. I wanted to follow up personally. Has Ms. Hargrove had time to review the agreement? She's reviewing it, I said flatly. Good. Time is short, but we're reasonable people. Perhaps we could sweeten the offer. 75,000 plus a neutral reference letter for her next role. Discreet, of course. I let the silence stretch. You think money fixes this? Money fixes most things, he replied without hesitation, especially when the alternative is unpleasant. Unpleasant how? Let's not play games. You know how these matters resolve. Reputations are fragile, careers more so. I pictured Emily's face in the diner, the way her shoulders had straightened when she talked about fighting. She's not signing. A pause. That's her choice, but choices have consequences, and consequences have witnesses. The line went dead. I stared at the phone, adrenaline prickling my scalp. Threat delivered, deniably. Classic. That evening, I met Emily at a small park 2 blocks from her apartment. Neutral ground, no diners, no rain. She was already there when I arrived, sitting on a bench under a dripping oak, thermos in hand. She looked exhausted but composed, hair in a loose braid, dark circles under her eyes that no concealer could hide. You okay? I asked, sitting beside her. No, but I'm here. She handed me the thermos. Chamomile. Figured we could use calm. I took a sip. Warm, floral, grounding. Torres sent the draft? Yeah, I read it twice. Then I cried for an hour. Then I got angry. She exhaled through her nose. 75 now, right? He called you? I nodded. Tried to bargain. She laughed, short and sharp. Of course he did. That's what he does. Negotiate until the other side breaks. So what's your decision? Emily stared at the path ahead, where a jogger pushed a stroller through puddles. I keep thinking about the girl who started at Webb 3 years ago. 25, fresh out of grad school, convinced hard work was enough. I was good, really good. And I let him make me feel like I owed him for noticing. Her voice cracked on the last word. Signing feels like telling that girl she was wrong to believe in herself. Then don't sign. It's not that easy. If I fight, I might lose everything. Apartment, savings, sanity, and he still walks away richer. Maybe, but he won't walk away clean, not if we do this right. She turned to me, eyes searching. Why are you still here, Jake? You could have ghosted after the first meltdown. Most people would. Because I know what it feels like to fold when you shouldn't, and because you're not the villain in your own story, no matter how hard he tries to rewrite it. She looked away, blinking rapidly. After a long moment, she spoke, voice steadier. I'm rejecting the NDA. Torres is filing the EEOC charge tomorrow, and I'm going public, anonymous at first, through a journalist Torres knows. If others come forward, we build from there. I felt something loosen in my chest. You're sure? No. But I'm done being sure about the wrong things. We sat in silence as dusk settled, the park lights flickering on one by one. A dog walker passed, nodding hello. Normal life continued around us, indifferent. Emily stood first, brushing damp leaves from her coat. Walk me home? I did. At her building door she turned, hugged me fiercely, brief, grateful, no lingering. Thank you for not letting me disappear. Wouldn't dream of it. She disappeared inside. I walked the blocks home alone, rain starting again, soft and steady. My phone buzzed once. Torres. Charge filed. Clock's ticking. Stay sharp. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened a new note on my phone and typed one line. Day 1. She chose to fight. Then I locked the screen and kept walking, the city lights smearing in the wet like watercolor promises. For the first time in weeks, the future didn't feel like a trap. It felt like a door, cracked open, waiting for someone brave enough to push. Emily is already waiting when I arrive at Murphy's Diner the next evening. She's chosen a corner booth, dressed carefully in a conservative blue sweater and dark jeans, an outfit designed to look humble, apologetic. She stands when she sees me, her smile nervous but hopeful. Jake, thank you for coming. I slide into the booth across from her, noting the dark circles under her eyes, the way her hands shake slightly when she reaches for her coffee cup. She looks like someone who hasn't been sleeping well. You look tired. I haven't been sleeping much. I keep thinking about what you said about the choices I've made. She leans forward. I've been doing a lot of soul-searching, Jake. I think you were right about some things. Which things? About me running away when things get difficult. About using people as safety nets. She takes a shaky breath. I don't want to be that person anymore. Dolores appears with coffee for me, eyeing Emily with obvious disapproval. The whole town knows the story by now, and Emily isn't winning any popularity contests. So what do you want to be? I ask once we're alone. I want to be someone who takes responsibility for her mistakes, someone who faces consequences instead of running from them. Emily's eyes are bright with unshed tears. I want to be someone worthy of a second chance. Emily, I need to tell you something. Marcus Webb came to see me yesterday. Her face goes white. What? He brought his lawyer. They want you to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Oh, God. Emily puts her head in her hands. What did you tell them? I told them I'd think about it. I pull the NDA from my jacket and slide it across the table. They're offering you $50,000 to keep quiet about your affair. Emily stares at the document like it's a snake. And if I don't sign? They'll sue you. Defamation, harassment, emotional distress. They'll destroy you in court. They can't prove I'm lying. Can't they? Marcus showed me text messages, Emily. Messages where you're begging him to leave his wife, threatening to expose him if he doesn't. Emily's shoulders slump. Those messages. I was desperate. Hurt. I wasn't thinking clearly. So you did threaten him? Not the way it sounds. I never tried to blackmail him or anything like that. I loved him, Jake. I thought he loved me too. When he threw me away like I was nothing, I said things I shouldn't have said. What kind of things? I told him I'd tell his wife about us if he didn't at least give us a chance. I know how that looks, but I wasn't trying to destroy his marriage. I was trying to save what we had. I study her face, looking for signs of deception. Emily's always been a good liar, but right now she looks genuinely shaken. Marcus says you've been harassing him, following his wife, showing up at his office uninvited. I went to his office twice, Jake, and I never followed his wife anywhere. I ran into her at the grocery store once, completely by accident. Emily's voice rises slightly. He's making me sound like some kind of stalker. Are you planning to go to the media? Emily looks surprised. What? No. Why would I do that? Marcus seems to think you've scheduled interviews with reporters, that you're planning to accuse him of sexual harassment. That's insane. I never contacted any reporters. Emily shakes her head. Jake, I made mistakes, but I'm not trying to destroy Marcus. I just want to move on with my life. I believe her, which surprises me. Emily's many things, but she's not vindictive. She's selfish, impulsive, willing to hurt people to get what she wants, but she doesn't seek revenge. So, where does that leave us? I don't know. Marcus and his lawyer seemed pretty convinced you were going public. Maybe someone else is feeding them information, making them think I'm more of a threat than I actually am. Like who? I don't know. Someone who benefits from Marcus thinking I'm dangerous. We sit in silence for a moment, both lost in thought. What do you think I should do? Emily asks finally. About the NDA? That's your choice. I'm asking for your advice. Why would you want my advice? According to you, I'm boring and predictable. Emily winces. I was angry when I said that. I didn't mean it. Yes, you did. You meant every word. And you know what? You were right. I am boring and predictable. I go to work, I come home, I pay my bills, I mow my lawn. I don't have affairs with my boss or run off to find myself or create drama wherever I go. Jake, but you know what else I am? I'm reliable. I'm honest. I keep my promises. and I deserve better than someone who sees those qualities as character flaws. Emily starts crying, not the calculated tears from the other night, but genuine sobs of grief and regret. I know you deserve better. I've always known that. That's why I was so afraid of losing you. So you cheated on me? I cheated because I was scared that I wasn't good enough for you, that eventually you'd realize you could do better and leave me. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to make sense. It's how I felt. Emily wipes her eyes with a napkin. You were always so steady, so sure of yourself. I felt like I was constantly trying to measure up, and I was always falling short. So you had an affair to prove you were falling short? I had an affair because Marcus made me feel special, important, like I was worth pursuing. She looks up at me. You stopped pursuing me years ago, Jake. You loved me, but you took me for granted. I took you for granted because I thought we were solid. I thought we were a team. We were, but I needed to feel like you still wanted me, not just that you loved me out of habit. I consider this. There's probably some truth to it. After 15 years of marriage, I had gotten comfortable. I'd stopped trying to impress Emily, stopped working to win her affections. But that didn't excuse what she'd done. Even if that's true, it doesn't justify cheating. No, it doesn't. Nothing justifies that. Emily reaches across the table for my hand, and this time, I don't pull away. Jake, I know I've destroyed what we had. I know there's probably no going back. But I want you to know that leaving you was the biggest mistake of my life. Why? Because Marcus didn't work out? Because Trent didn't work out? Because your career is falling apart? Because I realized that what we had was real. It wasn't exciting or dramatic or passionate, but it was real. It was solid. It was something I could build a life on. But you don't love me. Emily is quiet for a long moment. I don't know what love means anymore, Jake. I thought I loved Marcus, but that was just obsession. I thought I loved the excitement, the danger, the feeling of being desired, but those feelings don't last. And what we had does? What we had was partnership, friendship, mutual respect, trust. She laughs bitterly. At least it was until I destroyed the trust. So what are you saying? I'm saying that maybe love isn't just about passion and excitement. Maybe it's about choosing someone every day, even when it's boring, even when it's predictable. Maybe it's about building something together that's bigger than just feelings. That sounds like you're trying to convince yourself as much as me. Maybe I am. Emily lets go of my hand. Jake, I don't expect you to take me back. I don't even know if I deserve another chance. But I want you to know that I understand now what I threw away. And what's that? A good man, a good life, a good marriage. She picks up the NDA. What do you think I should do about this? I think you should sign it. Emily looks surprised. Really? $50,000 is a lot of money. It's enough for you to start over somewhere new, maybe go back to school, build a different kind of career. And let Marcus get away with what he did? What did he do, Emily? Sleep with a willing adult? End an affair when it got complicated? From what I can see, you both made bad choices. He used me. And you used him. You used Trent. You tried to use me. I lean back in the booth. Maybe it's time to stop thinking about who used who and start thinking about how to move forward. Emily stares at the document for a long time. If I sign this, it's really over between us, isn't it? It was already over. I know. I keep hoping for a miracle, I guess. Miracles require faith, Emily, and you lost faith in us a long time ago. She nods, tears streaming down her face. You're right. I did. Emily pulls a pen from her purse and signs the NDA with shaking hands. When she's finished, she slides it back across the table. There, it's done. What will you do now? I don't know. Leave Pine Hollow, obviously. Start over somewhere else. She looks around the diner, taking in the familiar surroundings. I'll miss this place. You could have stayed. All you had to do was choose us. I know, but I've never been good at choosing the right thing. We sit in silence for a few more minutes, the weight of 15 years settling between us. I should go, Emily says finally. I need to pack, figure out where I'm going. Emily? She pauses, half standing. For what it's worth, I hope you find what you're looking for. What if what I was looking for was right here all along? Then you'll have learned an expensive lesson. Emily nods, understanding that this is really goodbye. Take care of yourself, Jake. You're a good man. Don't let what I did make you think otherwise. After she leaves, I sit in the booth for another hour, drinking coffee and watching Pine Hollow settle into evening. Through the window, I can see people walking their dogs, teenagers hanging out in the parking lot of the gas station, families heading home from dinner. Normal life in a normal town. My phone buzzes with a text from Danny. How did it go? It's over, I type back. Really over this time. You okay? Getting there. And for the first time in over a year, I think that might actually be true. I pay my check and head home to my empty house, but it doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels like mine.